I don't know about you, but I want to make millions this bull run, and that means picking the right areas, the right niches of crypto and buying altcoins in those areas. Now, real-world assets, make no mistake, will likely be one of, if not the best performing area of crypto in 2024 and 2025. So today, I'm going to explain to you why this area is going to perform well at all, and some altcoins that are both new and unreleased that you need to keep an eye on. Make no mistake, guys, these will do well. It's a matter of if you want to pick up the slack or not. Now, before I get into explaining everything, please, guys, if you find yourself enjoying today's video or you think you sit back for a second and go, I learned something new. Do not forget, hit the like button and subscribe while you're down there, of course. Why? Well, I'm going to help you achieve all your crypto goals this bull run and more. So what on earth are real-world assets and tokenization? I won't spend too long here because I think most of you guys understand what this is already. So RWA, real-world assets, tokenization, these are kind of synonymous, meaning they pretty much mean the same thing at this point in time. Real-world assets and tokenization basically means you take something from the real world and you put it on the blockchain for people to use in some way, shape, or form. This can be US Treasury bills. This can be a car. This can be your laptop. This can even be yourself, I guess, eventually. Now, the thing is, this is going to be a really big part of the bull run because it's been kind of in progress for a while. And that's all come down to stablecoins. We all know what stablecoins are. They're derivatives of real things like the US dollar. We have USDT, USDC. These are all, again, derivatives of the US dollar itself, which are inherently tokenization assets, tokenized assets. So we all use them every day, whether you know it or not. But as time has progressed, particularly for this bull run, we're seeing new altcoins pop up offering new and unique ways to approach the tokenization world. So the three coins I'll mention today are doing just that. Now, the tokenization space / real-world asset, again, I'm going to kind of use them interchangeably in this video, pretty much always pump with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's in this orangey color down here, and we can see the RWA, again, / tokenization color here in green, always kind of pumping with Bitcoin, which is a little side note, but notable feature nonetheless. And actually, it's pretty much the highest performing asset class this cycle. Actually, it's right up against memes. They pretty much have performed the best. We compare this to something else like DEXs, and you can see just how impressive the growth of real-world asset altcoins as a narrative, as a niche, has been. And of course, a chart like this shows it as well. If I remove my head here, you can see real-world assets are just behind LSD, layer 2s, and memes. But keep in mind, this is the last few months. This is year to date. This isn't going on what I just showed you over here, which is pretty much since the beginning of time, or at least since they've been a thing, right? So very, huge amount of success, I think, coming here for this cycle based on what we've seen already. We've seen, CoinDesk, have these titles like 2024 will be the year of tokenization, where it finally truly begins. We had these awesome ideas for the longest time now. Oh, it'd be cool to tokenize my computer, or cool to tokenize my car and, put it up as collateral and get a loan out and so on. But up until this year, up until the last 6 or 8 months, these really haven't been possible, okay? Again, another one over here, the Street Roundtable, why tokenization will dominate the financial sector in 2024. Do not forget, BlackRock has been a huge proponent of why this has been successful or will be successful, as we'll touch on here soon. Now, I mentioned stablecoins before, guys. Make no mistake, stablecoins are the cornerstone of tokenization as well. Fiat-backed stablecoins by market cap, we can see here. Again, this is back as far as 2020. And you can see here, actually, what's interesting about this, another side note, is that the stablecoin market cap actually peaks out after the cycle's all said and done. Obviously, people take profits into a stablecoin, in which, of course, we have a bleed off, and then as we go up again. So as you can see here, the massive growth we had back in 2020 up until the peak of the last cycle. And again, just kind of going off comparatively where we are right now, we were back in the lows in October. I think we have quite a bit of room to still grow, okay? At least based on one of these charts. Either way, this tokenization area will still grow, and therefore the altcoins offering stable coins like Maker and so on will or should do well based on history. Commodity-backed stablecoins as well are slowly increasing over time. This is things like gold, okay? The gold actually leads the pack in this case here. Tether Gold, Pax Gold, and so on. But I think more importantly, the tokenization treasury products are growing at a much more rapid rate. We can see here like Ondo Finance, for example, Franklin Templeton. A lot of these newer, more hyper-focused for this bull run projects are spinning up, which I think this chart actually indicates. It's a very good sign Not to mention as well, we kind of branch out of this whole, basic utilization, if you want to say that, of tokenized assets. We can see that Infinode tokenizes $9 million of life insurance policy. These guys are looking to tokenize and digitize $3 trillion worth of life insurance, which is pretty impressive, to be honest. A big milestone that'll be. InvestCorp and Securitize launch fund to pretty much tokenize InvestCorp's funds, which is going to be huge. And I think this is important to mention as well, that BlackRock actually invested. They were the lead investor, $50 million they invested into Securitize. Now, this might string a bell because Securitize is pretty much popping up everywhere in the crypto space. If you see Securitize attached to one of these RWA tokenization projects, it is a good sign to see, like with Ondo Finance, okay? Of course, BlackRock, the Builder fund rather that BlackRock created, we'll talk more about this soon, was created and launched on Ethereum, in which Ondo Finance plucked out and applied a retail sort of system to, and of course Securitize was the transfer agent. So you'll see that, if a project is backed or utilizes Securitize in some way, there could be a BlackRock hidden thing happening behind the scenes. So this is just obviously an observation. So it might be something that you want to take away and go, okay, well, if I see Securitize, there could be something happening, not directly with BlackRock, but in correlation or collaboration with BlackRock as well. And finally, guys, I will say one last thing, that the tokenization relative strength is really, really well this Bullrun, okay? This is straight up the Bullrun cheat sheet. If you guys want to have access to the Bullrun cheat sheet, we've got over 9 features on this, including price predictions of over 100 different altcoins. It's the first link down below. Join the private community. We'll soon have the chance for you to actually purchase this without joining the private community. But either way, these guys are actually up almost a 2x on average. And if we kind of compare this to other 10 out of 10 ranked narratives like data availability, it beats these. Modularity beats this. It beats the interoperability narrative. It beats the layer 2 narrative. I mean, it even beats the layer 1 narrative. The only ones it doesn't beat is, of course, meme coin so far and DPIN/AI. But here's the thing. I want to jump into the 3 projects quickly today and explain them to you. Some of these actually do hit DPIN/AI as well. So a lot of these projects are interchangeable as well with real-world assets. And the first pick on today's list is an obvious one, but I always like adding this to real-world asset videos. Whilst everyone knows about it, I think the multiples here are probably looking at about an 8 to probably a 15x on the higher side, and it's a safe real-world asset pick. If you want exposure to this narrative, and again, it could blow past those multiples, then this is the pick for you. Again, this builds on the back of the Builder fund that was, again, tokenized on Ethereum, right? It was US Treasury bills tokenized on Ethereum, and of course, it's Ondo Finance. Wow, big surprise, right? But Ondo right now is actually at a very low price considering how strong it's been. It's pretty much at its local lows of $1.10. So this gives me a great entry in my personal opinion. Of course, this is not financial advice. Do not buy based on what I say in this video. But if you have a look at some of the supporting factors as to what make Ondo so good, and I think the strong reason why Ondo has been pretty much at worst trending sideways in these horrible market conditions and just overall trending upwards is thanks to the people, right? Katie, I'll point her out specifically here because she's low-hanging fruit. She actually is X-Circle, okay, X-Stablecoin USDC Circle, and also BlackRock. Now, this is a great sign because in crypto, in life, it's not always what you know in terms of your technical ability. It's also who you know. If you know someone in the right position with the right connections, you can sneak your way through and fast track your way to success. It is just life. A lot of you people who've been around the block know this, all right? Now, also, if you have a look at the Foundation website as well, they're partnered with BlackRock, okay? So we've already established this previously. Morgan Stanley as well, and also Anchorage Digital. Now, you can go on about all these other partners here. Polygon, Mantle. Again, this is sort of like an app chain layer 3 focused project providing, support for new, basically layer 2s and layer 3s. You have Curve, Injective, and Coinbase. But these by far are those 3 are the biggest in my personal opinion. You check the ecosystem as well if the page loads. 73 total partners. And again, just go through this list. Read into it. A lot of people make the big mistake in crypto of hearing how big the partner list is and assuming they're working together intimately. You've got to read each partner But again, you read this and you will understand just how well connected Ondo actually is. And I think a big part of the reason why it's doing so well is not just the connections and the partners and so on, but it's also the community. It's the people that have full faith in this altcoin. If you have a look at how it's performing based on relative strength, it's the number one leader in the real world asset space by far, okay? 29% total token growth. And you compare this to what I believe as a powerhouse RWA altcoin as well, Goldfinch, which is way down here. I mean, I think the results speak for themselves. Honestly, this coin is just unbelievable. I mean, I keep saying it, but guys, I can't stress it enough. It just won't go down, okay? It's kind of annoying because you can't buy it low. Now, the one concern people have about Ondo, and I've disproven this in my recent full deep dive Ondo video, is the unlocks. Guys, you have to understand with unlocks, a big misconception in crypto, believe it or not, is that unlocks are bad. Unlocks don't really mean all that much at all. It doesn't mean there's going to have to be an increase in demand and like investable income for the project. It doesn't mean that there's going to be a massive dump on the day. You have to know how to read this, and I've made many videos on it, and I'll cut you the time and say right now that there isn't that bad of an unlock happening here. Matter of fact, it's happening in January of 2025. So we're about, whatever that is, 100, 200 days away from this actually happening. And when it does happen, the next unlock won't happen until the bear market. All right, so that's definitely going to be bear market territory. We might even cap out somewhere over here for all we know. But if we do happen to have the unlock, you only have to be concerned with the private sales. Okay, they have about 300 million tokens being unlocked. You have to ask yourself, are these people likely to sell their tokens? Well, likely yes. They're already up quite a few multiples because just the community rounds are up 20x themselves right now. So you can imagine the seed and investing, Series A rounds are going to be up quite a lot themselves, at least 50x, I would assume, okay? However, you got to understand the small sliver, there might be an actual small sell-off ultimately, but they're not getting all of their tokens. They're only getting a small sliver. We can see down here, comparative to where they will be over here with pretty much 100% unlocked over in 2029. Now, the next two altcoins are actually unreleased themselves. Now, I could have touched on Goldfinch and a few other great, real-world asset altcoins, but I want to move into what could be promising here very soon, all right? Where can we kind of attach ourselves to promising blue chip altcoins that could have high multiples on launch, or at least not on launch, but over the course of the bull run. Okay, so we're going to land first of all here on Peak Network. You guys may have known this already. Peak Network is a layer one project focusing on real world assets, but also in turn deep in as well. So it hits pretty big narratives, and we'll look at here in a second the other narratives it also focuses on. This is literally lining up to be one of the most promising altcoins of the bull run, right? It's also built in between Polkadot and Ethereum, so it leverages very, very fast transactions. And because it is a layer one as well, it offers a very robust framework for these developers to build on top of, right? Build deep in real-world asset-based protocols on top of. So these guys actually have already a lot of projects building on them. They've got their first cohort of the accelerated program projects building on them. So 6 teams chosen to join the Deep In Basecamp accelerated program. They'll be receiving investment support from one of their leading investors as well, and a whole bunch of resources from Peak to enable them to spin up and begin operating, which is great. Of course, the ecosystem is what builds a project's strength and perpetuity. And if we can see here, $15 million was raised in pre-launch funding. Now, actually, there was $20 million raised just on CoinList. This is the public round, and if we have a look more closely here, we can see it, right? So the ICO on CoinList, this is the community round. Okay, $19 or $20 million to be specific. Now, keep in mind, these guys are likely to always sell first. This is people like you and I see in the comments, people always get angry at me for saying that the community, right, people in these ICO rounds or airdrops always sell first. They're the definition of paper hands. And people say, why would you say that for? It's facts, right? If you think about it, if you're someone that gets in a project early, particularly an airdrop, you are likely to have the weakest hands possible because it's free money, or it's, again, easy multiples. You just want to make some money, and you might not have that initial conviction like someone buying on the open market would. Now, we can see here again, this was the sort of seed round that I showed you before, $15 million, and a few other rounds that were included along the way. So overall, quite a large sum of invested money, like $40 million or whatever it works out to be, which is crazy for a new project. And like I said before, the ecosystem is already growing. We can see there's actually fleet of Teslas, I believe, that are working to be hooked up to the network as well, right? Automated. And as we'll see in a second here, that's thanks to AI. And you've got things like, again, small, medium enterprises using this, as well as the larger enterprises like Bosch. It goes on, okay? And I think that's all thanks to the fact that they're working with Fetch AI as well to run, all-in-one AI agents. I mean, it just goes on from here. They're literally working with Bosch and Fetch to build out AI agents to leverage in not just, DePIN or real-world asset sensors, but also in IoT, collecting information, right? Bettering products and services based on sensors. Kind of a little bit crazy when you think about it. And actually, they've been mentioned in a few reports, right? This one here I've brought up many, many times on the channel back in January. DePIN and AI poised to be the power duo of 2024. And again, Peak Network's co-founder over here, Leonard, has mentioned many times before that the DePIN will be successful alongside AI, and they work kind of interchangeably as well. The technology over here has facilitated developments such as Peak Network, again, tokenizing a fleet of Teslas. It goes on from here. And I've mentioned some of them in the Bullrun cheat sheet here. We can see IoT, supply chain, tokenization, real-world assets, AI, DePIN. So it hits like many, many narratives. And while these ones down here aren't amazing, IoT and supply chain, I don't think singly there'll be huge narratives of the bull run. These extra narratives will still see some sort of growth in terms of people using them or people being interested in them. And of course, that will have a carryover effect to something like Peak Network. Now, the only thing I will say from here on is the unlock schedule, guys. Nothing to be concerned of. Peak Network keeps pushing back their token launch because they understand, as any good marketing company would, that you don't want to be launching a new token at a time where there's mass fear. What will happen is, typical crypto, it'll launch, it'll do what W did, what Layer Zero did, and it'll kind of come down and have a sell-off straight away, and people will say, oh, it's a crap coin, right? People who don't know any better, I guess. But if it has a successful launch, oh, it's the greatest coin in the world, I've got to go buy Peak Network, right? It is fundamentally crypto marketing 101. So they're pushing it back, of course. But whenever it launches, whenever the TGE is, I don't think we see the bull run lasting any more than the 12-month mark, maybe a little bit more. So that's about here. That's give or take about 1.5 billion tokens in circulation. So in my opinion, tokenomics aren't that bad. It's nice, slow over time. Yeah, a huge chunk of that is probably about, 1/3 of that's going towards the investors. But you have to ask yourself, okay, are they all going to sell at the same time? The last coin, unlike Peak Network, actually is going through its ICO phase right now. So Peak's ICO is all said and done, but these guys are currently doing it. I will show you guys how to have access to it here in a second, and that is Lingo. Okay, Lingo is a super interesting new real-world asset altcoin. These guys have over $3 billion in assets under management ready to deploy for users wanting to actually use the network. And what do I mean by this? Well, if I kind of go to the next page here, the likes of Nike, Spotify, Netflix, and a whole bunch others, right? As they say here, they have 3,000 plus brands across 80 countries in their network, and where you basically interact with the protocol itself, complete challenges, and do other gamification-esque things to unlock something like a new pair of Nike shoes or a 1 month's, Netflix subscription, or even, of course, if you do even more, things like a brand new PlayStation. Basically, if you remember the play-to-earn model from the last cycle, it takes that, and rather than playing like some game like Axie Infinity, you complete challenges that actually allow you to then go ahead and do things in real life. It might even be a 3-night stay at a hotel or resort, like actual genuine things that allows you to have real world impact, allows you to pretty much live, right? It's awesome. It's like really, really new feature. Again, we'll look at the narratives this hits just in a second here. But as you can imagine, it ticks a lot of the boxes, right? So if you want to have access to the ICO itself, this is going to run out super fast, okay? Go to the description down below. I've got my referral link. You'll, of course, help the channel out in the same way. Thank you for those of you who are interested and want to do that. Not financial advice, of course, but obviously pretty simple, right? Connect your wallet, click USDC card even, and then go ahead and complete that over there. Now, like I said, it hits tokenization and real-world assets because they're tokenizing things from the real world, like a brand new PlayStation, for example, allowing you to actually complete challenges to then go ahead and win that. They have awesome other features as well. We'll look at here in a second, like random boxes, like you can complete these boxes, unlock these boxes, and basically get any random amount of rewards. And also, technically, again, play to earn. All right. So this is built on Base and Solana, and again, it leverages real-world assets to power tangible rewards through the innovative system. Okay, again, they have $3 billion worth of rewards basically to begin giving away. Now, it's not a massive pool, right? It kind of sounds too good to be true. They haven't pretty much purchased $3 billion worth of things. Because of their partners, they've again allowed their users to tap into those products, okay? So it is sustainable, right? Lingo's vision is to build the world's most rewarding token engineered for the next billion waves of consumer crypto users. You think about it, what's crypto going to be used for? Well, we have the whole gaming idea, right? Used for gaming things, okay? And then, of course, we have things like X to earn. The last cycle, people in impoverished countries were using things like Axie Infinity to play and to actually make more money on the side, right? And a lot of people were actually doing that as a full-time job for a while, okay? Our reward store is at the center of the Lingo experience, merging real-world asset value with the unique reward system designed for the mass market, gamified for the most fun and rewarding experience. So pretty much you stake your Lingo, you complete the quests, and then you have awesome real-life rewards. This is their interface, okay? This is an example of what it will look like. And as I said, there's boxes that you can actually unlock. They'll show you here in a second that give you random rewards. So you have more ways to win than just obviously play to earn, basically, or I guess whatever you want to say there, like do something to return or do something to earn. So this is the mystery box. As I mentioned, you might get something like a Netflix gift card and so on. All right, now they have some pretty impressive investors. They have the VCs themselves, right? The guys looking to actually make money back for themselves and their own investors. You have angel investors like Tal over here. I believe he's a current CEO of Kraken. Kenny, which is, of course, the CEO of the Manta Network. You have a few other really impressive people, as well as the creators, Altcoin Daily, Box Mining, Carl the Moon, and Ivan on Tech. Now, of course, with a project of this caliber, you have to have people that have the connections, right, to actually reach out to things like Netflix and so on to offer, these RWA-based rewards to the ecosystem. So we have some pretty impressive people on here. I want to mention too, so Duncan over here has worked with BlackRock before. So again, it's not always what you know, it's who you know. You don't know what could come from some of these connections. And also Adrian over here as well. This guy was part of Air France. So again, that could literally mean things like plane tickets, for example. You don't know these sort of things. And also he was, he currently still is rather, a principal architect for Web3 at Google, which, as we know, isn't an easy area to get into or an easy, enterprise to work at. So that's going to do today's video, guys. I hope you understand the gravity of this ecosystem and some really awesome projects that are building around it or in it. And let me know down below what your favorite RWA-based token is. I would love to know. And if it's another coin, I can do a full video on it. Thanks all. Talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.